And we've been joined by the management of Gateway Distriparks to discuss the road ahead for the company. Samvid Gupta, the joint managing director of the company, is joining in. Samvid, good morning. Thank you for joining in. Could summarize the quarter gone by for us, if you could tell us, and almost a 2.5% revenue growth. You can call that a subdued quarter. Do you see things improving on ground in the current quarter so that your growth improves going into FY26?
Yeah, hi, thank you. Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show. So this quarter was more or less same like Q2. If you look at a 9-month versus 9-month, you might see a dip. That's because Q1 was one of our weakest quarters. But month on month since about June, July, we've been seeing improvement, and even January is looking better than the previous months. So we expect some uptick to come in the coming quarters now.
All right. Hi, Samvid, and good to see you after a while. Samvid, give us a couple of numbers. Earlier you were guiding for volume growth of roughly around 10% or thereabouts for the year. If things are going to get better, how much will you grow in the railway segment in Q4 for the year? What does that mean? And in EBITDA per unit, I think you're doing roughly around 9,600 rupees. Where does that number head? So volumes on railways and EBITDA per unit.
Right. So the rail volumes on Q4, the last year base was quite low. So we should see better than 10% growth, just Q4 versus Q4. But if we compare it to Q3, it'll probably be a similar trend with some marginal improvement. Now the Red Sea crisis was ongoing since January last year. There are some ceasefire talks, and we're hopeful that that shipping lines start using that route again. That should be a big boost to trade in India if that happens.
And for the year, what will you end at in terms of volumes and EBITDA per TEU from here?
Since Q1 was low, I think our volumes will be flat year on year, but EBITDA per TEU will remain in the same range. We've increased our double stacking, so that's helped improve our margins slightly. So Faridabad got double stacked in November. Q4 will be a full quarter for Faridabad being double stacked. Okay. So 9,500 to 9,700 is a good range for EBITDA per TEU.
All right, Samvid, I wanted to focus on the smaller part of your business, which is the CFS business. And you all have mentioned on your call that you all could possibly look to monetize it. In the past, we as well have conversations on the channel, and we've asked you, what is the plan out there? You all have hinted at monetizing it. Give us a timeline. By when will you all monetize it? Part by part, when should we be hearing about this news? Point number one. And also, if you could tell us, I think earlier you all were saying that this unit could be valued at around 1,000 crores. Would that be a fair estimate?
So we've started the process. We're talking to people. Our preference is to sell all 5 in one go. There is some piecemeal interest, but it takes time since it's a more complex matter with customs, with some land leases. We're hopeful to give a better update in next quarter, but hopefully if there's some transaction is to take place, it'll probably be towards the end of the calendar year. And we're just right now, focusing on trying to grow up the CFS business as well. The EBITDA is looking slightly better this quarter, and there is some better pipeline also in place over there.
What is 1,000 crore value a fair estimate, Samvid?
The value, so we have to do a price discovery method. We haven't received any formal bids yet, so it's tough to give an indication, but we're looking at a higher figure than that for all assets combined.
Since you mentioned double stacking for Faridabad and all of that, what kind of a target have you set for this year and for FY26 for double stacking?
So last quarter we were at 38%. This quarter we did 40%. And historically we've gone up to 45 to 46% also. So that's the immediate target to go back there.
Okay. All right. What about the plan with regard to Snowman Logistics? I recall, that you all will gradually increasing stake from the mid-40s. Now you'll have gone past the 50% stake. You'll have done now, buying stake in Snowman Logistics, and now you'll consolidate this asset?
Yeah, so it started getting consolidated from December 24th. So if you see the financials, there would be some accommodating entries for one-time gain as well as line by line of revenue, EBITDA, PAT being added now. For now, we are happy with 50%, but we'll evaluate once GDL is done with its capex and we have free cash flows, then we could possibly take a decision then.
What is the capex spend that you'll have for this particular year? If you could revise that number, FY25 as well as FY26, and how's your balance sheet looking?
Yeah, so GDL's got a capex of about 30 crores this year. Maybe there's about 5-7 crores more. For the next 2 years, that we keep saying that we have 2 new terminals in the pipeline, as well as Jaipur whenever it comes in. That total, those 3 terminals would be about 300 crores put together. Other than that, it's about 30 crores capex yearly just for new equipment, new capacity at our existing locations. And as far as our balance sheet, our net debt is quite comfortable. So we're below 200 crores for the first time in about 5-7 years. And it's improving month on month. We get about free operating cash flow of 20 crores. And now that our Snowman purchase is done for the time being, this will probably go down faster.
What is your current capacity? And as you're saying, you could add 3 terminals. So what does the capacity go to? Current capacity, utilization levels, and where's the capacity headed post this expansion of 300 crores?
So we have a huge capacity because we buy land way ahead of its time. So the current utilization, say on the rail side, we're doing about 350,000 TUs. Our installed capacity would be closer to 600,000 TUs. But our land bank is capable of handling about 1.2, 1.3 million TUs. These 3 terminals, when we finalize them, it could add possibly another 200 to 300,000 TUs in the initial phase. And again, we're going to buy land bank bigger than our current requirement because it's very hard to acquire land. Once you do it, it's very tough to get adjacent land because the prices go really high.
All right, Samvid. Yes, please finish your point. Please finish your point.
Yeah, utilization, whenever it crosses 70-80%, then we start developing more container yard space, more warehousing space, and bring it down to 50-60%, so that we have ample room for growth whenever the volumes kick in good seasons.
All right, Samvid, thank you so much for sparing time joining us today. Wish you good luck for your expansion plans and for the road ahead as well. The management there of Gateway Distriparks.